It's all good. All right.
Oh, uh, make sure that you start uh, telling people, referring people to rainmm.com because that's where
Rain
they can.
MM.
That's the rainmm.com. That's the
Okay, hold on.
website, and
Let
they
me
can
write
get
that down.
at us with everything from there, as opposed to
So no more subscribe to the Rain YouTube channel, just rainmm.com or add that in.
yeah, you can add that in.
All right. Are we still
You can
recording or
add
we
it.
stop recording?
No, we stopped recording, but that's all right. You just
Okay.
pick it up.
All right. Let me
Yeah.
just, I'm going to write that down so I don't forget. So Rain MM.
See, Gabe, we're really prepared here. You see, so we're constantly in sync and lockstep.
And then same thing, Rain, like shout out to Instagram too, or just be like subscribe to Rain Multimedia.
You know what? Just something like just, visit Rain Multimedia. You'll see all their, you know, all the
Okay.
you can
Well,
contact them
I'll
through all
figure it out.
platforms there. All our platforms from there,
All right.
because that's what it's like. All right. So whenever you're ready, everybody's lighting looks good. I look stressed as usual, but I'll make it.
Yeah, this week has been a real week, man.
This day has been a week.
Man, listen,
Yeah.
Kyle does like 500,000 things at once. The man doesn't know what a break is. He's always
That's
on the grind.
well, that's one of the problems, I guess. But yeah, speak to
Same
me
thing
when
with
I'm admitted.
same thing with Kane too. Kane probably goes to bed at like 5 o'clock and wakes up at 7.
I go to bed at around 3 and wake up at 6, actually.
Oh,
I was an hour off or 2 hours
The
off.
grind is real.
And that's not. I'm sorry. I know that sounded like a joke. I'm reading the standings, but yeah, like it's 3 and 6, right, Liz? Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, you guys all depend on me. Kyle depends on me, and I take that very seriously. So.
All right. Whenever you guys are ready, we can do
Ready.
this.
Let's do this.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Hoops All In podcast. I'm your host, Werlins Francois, co-host Kyle Anthony, co-host Kane Legacy, and we got a special guest joining us today, a good friend of mine, Gabriel. Gabriel, man, how you doing? What's going on?
Doing amazing today. Thank you for having me. Appreciate you.
No problem, man. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you taking the time. And as you can see, this man is grinding. He's currently at work right now, ladies and gentlemen, doing this podcast. If that ain't hustle and grinding, I don't know what is.
That's what's
Much
up.
respect.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Yes. And as always, Kyle, always grinding. We want to be able to do some of the things that we do on this podcast without him. Same thing with Kane too, as well. So always got to shout the team out.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Thank
Same to
you.
you,
No problem, man.
Same to you,
Appreciate that.
I don't think we say it enough, but thank you for keeping us on track like you do, Wells. We appreciate you.
No problem, man. We all the team. All right. So
Let's hug it out.
Coronavirus. 6 feet, please.
Going down.
All right,
right.
so let's get started. Let's get started here as we had a lot of hoops to talk about. So,
Hey, I gotta say,
weekend.
before you get started, you just passed me the red cup, didn't you?
Let
me pass it back
to
you.
I get nothing.
Sure.
Got you next time, Kyle.
I got
you
nothing.
next time. Oh no,
All
what's
right.
in my cup? Every time they see me, cups go up.
All right, I'm sorry, man. Go ahead. I needed a laugh. Yeah.
No, you good.
So and I need a drink.
So we're just coming off the brink of NBA All-Star Weekend at the time of this recording. So a lot of great things happened that weekend. We want to talk about the recaps. Now, what did you guys think about possibly what everyone's calling the worst dunk contest of all time? The All-Star game was phenomenal. LeBron James hit the game winner in his hometown back in Cleveland, where it all started. Obviously from Akron, but hit it back where it all started in his hometown. Steph Curry went bananas from 3 as usual. So I want to ask your guys' opinion and takes. What was your overall thoughts on the All-Star weekend in its totality? Kyle?
Well, first of all, I think that the dunk contest, if those dunks had taken place years ago, and I'm not trying to make a joke, but what I'm getting at is that there's been so many over the top dunks and gimmicks, with gimmicks and things like that, and props and whatnot. It's really hard to do anything original now. It's like, I kind of feel like in-game dunks are far more exciting than standing there waiting for a guy to get ready to do it. And they get so many attempts, you lose the crowd, and everybody is all that anticipation. People are waiting for something that's going to blow them away. And that has not happened in a while. So I don't really consider this particular one as the worst ever. I just think that the bar has been set so high, there's really nowhere to go at this point, And again, sometimes these things happen in real time and it's hard to catch them, which is why the judges have to watch them in slow-mo, which is why they might be a little biased, but I do feel that Obi Toppin had the better dunks, because once you saw them in slow motion, they were better. They were obviously, he was deserving of considering his competition. He didn't take 15 attempts. He didn't take 10 minutes to change his shoes. He didn't do any of those things, whatever. And he pulled them off with little or no mistakes. So that's all I got on the dunk contest. But yeah, there were moments where I was like tempted to just change the channel just to watch a commercial. But I think it was fine. What about you thinking?
I mean, the high point of the whole thing was, what's his name, Cole dunking in those Timberlands. That was pretty crazy, but I mean, I wouldn't do it, but then again, I like my knees how they are, so I don't know about dunking in Timberlands, but it was just too many misses, like too many missed attempts, like for me, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna date myself here, but like coming up in the days of like, you know what I mean, Vince Carter and MJ being in these dunk contests, like these dudes were nailing their first try like it was second, you know what I mean, like second nature to them. But like these cuts, I just think there's no work ethic on this now. You know what I mean? Before, one thing I learned, right? And Kyle was actually one of my first teachers about this. When I do something, whether it's basketball or music or anything like that, before anybody sees it, before somebody sees me do it on the court or sees me do it when I'm behind the booth in the DJ booth, I have practiced it 1,000 times before anybody sees me even attempt it in public once. You see what I'm saying? And I think that work ethic right there is missing. I don't practice till I get it right. I practice till I can't get it wrong. And all these missed dunk attempts just turned me off, man. It just showed me that they weren't really putting in the work beforehand, So, nah, it's a pass for me.
Hey, what about you if you want to chime in?
Honestly, I think one of the funniest highlights was that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar just bounced. He was like, I'm not for this. I'm past my bedtime. I'm not having this. Excuse me, but this ain't the dunk contest. He left. He was out.
Yeah. That was a popular clip right there too. I think I left somewhere in the comments at one point on Instagram that I kind of felt like it might have been more interesting to show footage of Oreos being dunked in milk at some point as opposed to actually watching this dunk contest. But
oh no!
Oh
my god!
But again, worst ever. No, what I think they should change is the number of attempts that people get, because alluding to Kane's point, if you're practicing the way you should be practicing, you really don't need 5-6 attempts, and then on top of that, an attempt is only considered an attempt if you've extended your arm in a downward motion with the ball, as if you're looking, as if calling a ball versus calling strike in baseball. You know what I mean? I think that once you go up there, once you head towards the hoop, that should be considered an attempt. And you shouldn't really get so many to the point where it just makes the crowd restless and it just becomes really boring. I really just, that's, if anything, that's the thing that they should consider, because they were tossing around all these different ideas. Change the format or change the timing or change the sequence. I think that's what it was. And I just don't think that it really comes down to where you put it. It's a matter of how you can make it so it's less boring with the anticipation factor.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, Gabe, if you want to say something.
No. I totally agree with what he's saying. Like, honestly, it's like the dunk contest is. I feel like when you're watching a dunk contest, lately it's just been a drag.
Yes.
It's really what it comes down to. Just a drag.
Yeah.
There you go.
No, for sure. Yeah, no, for sure.
Simply put.
I think that something that they could have done to try to, and Kyle, before I continue, you actually you said something, I wrote it down. The bar was set too high in terms of we're already seeing the creativity, we're already seeing the explosiveness. I think the height of when the bar was set too high was 2016 when Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon possibly put on the greatest dunk contest of all time. That was when they elevated it to another level. And we won't see that type of, creativity, that athleticism, the hanging in the air. So that was when it was at its all-time peak. And as basketball fans like myself, and we all are, we kind of got spoiled about it because it was like, okay, well, can they top it next year? Can they top it the year after that? And it was like, you won't get much better dunking in terms from athletes, from NBA players, what you saw in 2016 between the two. Another thing that you wrote down too, that you said that I wrote down was eliminate number of attempts. They actually tried to implement that because I believe now you only get 3 dunk attempts if you have full control of the basketball. Shaquille O'Neal, going back in 2016, Shaq was one of the judges that actually helped make the dunk contest so great in 2016 between Gordon and LaVine. Because what was Shaq doing? What was his rule? You got to make it on the first attempt. If you missed the dunk on the first attempt, I don't care what it was. If it was a 720, if you did between your legs, you turned around 2 times, he was knocking you a point off. He was going to give you a 9 because he's like, you got to make it on the first attempt. And his reason behind it was so valid. At first, when I watched it, I was like, what? Like, come on, you seen that incredible dunk? Like, that's hard as hell to do. But Shaq was like, no, you got to make it on this first attempt because in the dunk contest, we have, first of all, as humans, we have short attention spans. So when you have the hype, you have the energy of the crowd, you got to capitalize it like that. And so when you don't capitalize on your first attempt, the energy of the crowd dies down a lot. And it's like, oh, damn, you should have made it on the first attempt. And it's like, so Shaq in 2016 actually helped make the dunk contest so great because of his judging skills. He was going to knock you a point. You were all going to get an automatic 9 if you missed it on your first attempt. And then, like I said, I think that, what can they do? I mean, they tried having, especially this year, top in-game dunkers like Anthony Edwards and John Morant. They try having John Morant dunk contests, and those guys like, no, I'm just in-game dunker. So it was like, what can you do to try to fix it? I don't know. Maybe do you bring, YouTubers who perform these crazy dunks into the NBA dunk contest? You pay them a couple, $100,000 millions of dollars, and then the winner gets a nice car and they donate the money to charity. That could be something to kind of revitalize it. You still keep the 3 dunk attempts there. Do you just have a posterized dunk contest? I don't know. Like, it's just because that right there was not a perfect representation of what the NBA dunk contest should be about. Like it's just, I said, the dunks, the creativity was there. It's just when you give somebody 30 minutes to perform one dunk and they missed every single attempt, you're gonna have a snooze fest in the crowd.
Or give them 10 minutes to change into their Timbs. Yeah, I yeah. Totally agree. But I just feel like that's a good point. Maybe involve other elements in terms of other people. I mean, you saw it with the Rising Stars game. You had some G League players in there as well. So I mean, that's something that can make it interesting. Actual dunkers who are not NBA players, that could always, it's worth a try. But yeah,
that was a bad representation. Hopefully, I mean, Stephen A said it best. Obi Toppin should be ashamed he won that award because that was not. Well, nothing against your Knicks. Nothing against your Knicks.
No. I just feel like a win is a win. I'm assuming what Stephen A meant was he should be ashamed because of the low bar of his competitors. Yeah. You know what I mean? But he still came out the best, regardless of how low the bar was set. So if that's all it took for him to win, he still was the best in the competition. He
Hey,
still was,
Obi does these dunks in game too. I mean,
yeah.
like, I don't even know why he was missing. You know what I mean? At all,
Well,
because I've seen him do it in game. You know?
yeah. Well, again, I think it's just that there are some in-game dunkers, and there's the element of excitement because the crowd wasn't expecting it, and it's just something exciting to watch in the whole environment of a game. You know what I mean? Whereas you're sitting there and you're saying, this is what I'm expecting to see. I'm expecting to see a dunk. I'm not expecting to see breakaway attempts or fast break attempts. I'm expecting to see a dunk. So wow me or else. You know, so that's where that is.
Yeah.
We better start watching Ball as Life, because those are more exciting than the dunk contest at this point.
Bring your Oreos and your milk.
Fair enough.
Also, a quick little question I want to ask you guys. In 2016, who really won that good dunk contest? It should have been Aaron Gordon. I believe, listen, just a little mini rant. When you sit in midair, okay, and you grab the ball between, like, you're sitting in midair and you did a crutch, jumping over a mascot, how do you not win? That's all I have to say. That
okay.
If they had Aaron Gordon, Aaron Gordon should have won 2016, but I believe if he had won, rightfully so, maybe he could have participated this year, last year, and it wouldn't have gotten such, horrible ratings that it did. But I'm just saying, you won't see that type of creativity and finesse that he did in 2016. Should have been
ironically.
But
well, okay, yeah. Well, we're not gonna. Yeah, that's 6 years ago.
I'll pass on that. I'll let you speak to that, man. Because
Gabriel, because I have the one point I just wanted to make is that just an aside is that this year's All-Star weekend overall, or at least the main game, I should say. Sorry, not the weekend. Definitely not the whole weekend, but the All-Star game overall was rated higher than last year. So whatever the draw was, even though it wasn't the dunk contest, obviously something worked for the NBA and the network. But anyway, Gabe.
Honestly, I just want to give a shout out to Karl Anthony Towns, man. He definitely crushed it the other day. Definitely did crush it. I mean, with all the 3-pointers in the contest, I mean, who's better than him right now?
I think, and that's a good point, but I think he was at one point. I think he was misquoted or misheard, because I even think I misheard him. Or maybe it was one of the announcers saying this when he supposedly called himself the best big man shooter of all time. I was like, I don't know about that.
No, he said that. Yeah.
I think Dirk Nowitzki would have something to say about that. I think a few players would have something to say about that. But it's good to have that self-confidence. But anyway, I digress.
I mean, you have self-confidence, but you can't be, ridiculous about it. Like you said, Dirk, KD. Hell, I think KG was probably a better big man shooter than him. So it's like let's slow the roll there, cat. Oh, okay. So all right, what would you grade the game? So obviously Steph went bananas. I think he had 16 threes. Kyle and Kane picked them. LeBron hit the game winner. So what'd you think overall impressions of the game?
I think it was a great time for Steph to shine and shut up all the same people who were booing just maybe an hour before that or so, whatever. I think that, there's no way that everybody in that audience was a hometown Cleveland fan, not everybody. So it's funny how the boos were so loud during other points of the weekend. But I think, he showed who the best man, the best shooter in the league was right then and there. And that was the perfect time for him to do it. I'm sorry. I wish he had broken the record, but he came damn near close, and I'm happy for that.
Yeah. That no look from the logo was pretty dope. I'll give him.
And then turning around, how about the other one from the corner three where he turns around before it falls and asks the people if it went in. That was dope.
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, during the season, I'm not a Steph fan because, he's fighting my sons right now. You know what I mean, for the top spot, so I'm not a fan. But but he did his thing in the All-Star game. He definitely did, man. I was glad to have him on our side for a change. Yeah.
If you can't beat him, join him.
I respect him. It don't mean, you know what I mean? I do respect him, like, you know, regardless of whether worlds might think something or not. I respect Kyrie. It's just I can't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't root for the other side. I just don't do that, you know? So,
Right.
Well, I mean, it should note to mention that he almost carried you against our bet that we had, which announcement I won.
Yeah,
one of my starters.
You did win. I owed Worlds a steak dinner, so everybody knows this. Next time I get to NYC, I owe him a steak dinner because we picked players based on stats. And I thought Steph was going to pad the stats enough for me to win by himself, and he almost did. Yeah. So you almost had to like go into your savings account there, buddy.
Right. I just want to know what kind of steak this is going to be. And Gabe, you're invited too, because this steak dinner is going to be. I just want to be there just to watch, just to see what the order placed and the bill come, the check come.
He's just gonna sit there and savor every bite of it. I know you, man.
Oh yeah, I gotta rub it in. You know, talk about. All right, but hey, at least we got that on record. So switching gears here. There's been rumors about that Zion Williamson is reportedly very unhappy in New Orleans. He has missed a ton of time due to his knee injuries. He's had, I believe he's supposed to go back in for another knee procedure. So there's been reports coming out that he may look to either request a trade from the Pelicans or he may not sign an extension with them. So hearing with this, what do you guys think? Do you think that it's right for Zion to axe out of New Orleans so soon, or should he just, you know, first about getting ready to get back on the court and then, you know, uplifting his values? Or do you think, you know, should he request a trade so soon for a superstar of his caliber? Who wants to go first?
Why don't you let Gabe go?
Go ahead, Gabe.
Yeah, I was gonna say, honestly, shouldn't he focus on his recovery? I mean,
thank you.
and then worry about who's gonna feed him, because like if you're not recovering, how are you gonna eat?
Yeah, well, he's not having a problem eating.
That is true, but he does definitely need to consider that before he starts asking other teams to take him home.
That's one thing he's doing really well. That's all-star level right there, is eating.
Yeah.
But go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I mean, all I gotta say is who? Greg Odom? Who? Greg Odom? Is that what we talking about? Like, come on, man. Who cares what this broken down need having dude is trying to do right now? Get back on the court, prove your worth. Like, come on, man. Or else be Greg Odom. You know, crying to old ladies on the street about how you can't play no more because your knees ain't no good. Like, whatever, man. I don't want to talk about this. Yeah, I'm just saying. Like, I don't want to talk about this guy, man.
Okay. Well, can I just get my 2 cents in regardless, and then
yeah, no, you absolutely. I'm hanging on every word.
No, well, when he was drafted, they said that weight could be a problem with his frame if he's not careful, you know, and you know, they said that, and then he. You know, anybody can ask out, but I mean, you know, that doesn't mean you give him his wish. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, the problem I have is like what Gabe alluded to. You need to get on the court and you need to get back in shape, get healthy, play, and show people that you. Well, for the
back in shape.
For the 10 games or so where he was explosive, yeah, he was in shape at least enough to do well, and that, you know. But listen, you know, he has to recover, get healthy, and play, you know, because just because you can force your way out, but is that going to affect your conditioning, your health, your diet? I don't think, you know. I mean, there are certain injuries that are related to. There are certain injuries that are related to weight, and a lot of that has to do with ankles and knees. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if you're going up, you got to come down, and you're coming down on those ankles and those knees, you know, over and over again. Yeah, it's going to be a problem. When your game is power and explosion, then yeah, you have to stay in shape. You got to be in shape, and you got to take care of your ankles and your knees. And somewhere it went wrong. But forcing his way out, he's not where, there's all like this. There's still, we're talking about upside, provided he's healthy. And I don't think that's enough to go, forcing your way on to another team.
Now I know
Hey,
this
Will,
is
you picked this. I know you picked this topic because you knew we were gonna drag this dude, man. I know it because.
Me?
Yeah, Mr. Innocent over there.
What? Why would I do that? Listen, it was all over ESPN, Fox Sports and all that type of stuff. So I'm like, hey, let's talk about it. I mean, you got to talk about Zion instead of the Nets all the time and the Knicks.
What did Gabe want to say?
Like I said, Shaq said that Zion lose weight. That's all it needs to be said right there. Shaq said that.
Yeah. But anyway, Gabe.
Charles Barkley said it too.
Tonight, man. I'm sorry.
He's gonna drop a bomb on you. But how do you guys feel about the LeBron James right now?
What about him?
Man. Oh man, I broke out. Hello?
Yeah, we
You
got
got me?
Yeah,
got
Sorry
you.
about that, guys. Listen, how do you feel about LeBron James is currently #1 in fan votes for 2020 All-Star Game? I feel like that right there is just like a crown on top of his head, on top of all his success. It's just like to be voted #1. That's amazing.
I could tell you friends with Worlds. I could tell. I could tell.
Oh boy. Did he pay you now? He's gonna pay you later.
Oh God.
You probably texted him saying, say this.
It's about LeBron.
I'm sorry, man. Listen, I'm a LeBron fan. Listen, the guy is, how old is he? He's crushing
We
it.
could guess.
37.
37. Yep.
Listen,
I got no-
listen, the man is king. That's it.
Woo. This is deja vu all over again. But well, we don't want to get too far off topic, but yeah, I'll never doubt greatness. I mean, yeah, he's doing as every year we come up with a reason why he is great. Now it's great because he's still doing what he's doing at his age. So there's always something.
Yeah.
And he's doing. Yeah, it's great. Listen, he takes care of himself. He's never been involved in any kind of scandals.
Yeah.
He's never been. He's at least none that we've heard of. I don't know, but I mean, no. The point is that he's been the NBA ambassador for a long time, and he's doing fine. So I hats off to him always. But I just the GOAT conversation, I think, is really not. It does not. I don't think you can have the greatest one player of all time. I just don't think it changes. There's different reasons for speaking that to different people, different players. It's generational. It's over. I mean, there's always a different. Everyone has different criteria as far as what they consider as a GOAT. You know what I mean? Is it the number of championships? Is it the number of points scored averaged over a season? Is it enough? You know what I mean? There's so many different ways to go about it.
But you see, I don't want to get too off topic too, but I don't like that comparison with just championships, because if that's the thing, is Bill Russell the greatest of all time? He has 11. And I've never seen Bill Russell play. I mean, maybe Kane has, maybe you have, Kyle. I don't know.
Anybody can see him and see him play if you just look at film. That's not the point.
Yeah, but I mean, we're not gonna watch a full. Yeah, but I don't think
Listen,
there's full.
you don't have to.
See, hold on. See,
You
I
don't
wasn't
have
gonna
to.
say nothing. I wasn't gonna say nothing because I feel like what he's doing, right, is taking a shot at us because of age and saying we have a different criteria for judging the GOAT based on that. And I wasn't gonna say nothing because, like, I always loved LeBron. My only issue was that when someone said that LeBron was better than Michael Jordan, that's where I have an issue. You know what I mean?
I think that same someone said he was better than Kobe too, but I digress.
Yeah, we're not gonna see it,
But
I just can't.
A lot of people think LeBron is better.
I can't. That's where I lose it. You know what I mean? I don't care if I'm 100 years old. It doesn't make a difference.
I think what we're getting at here is knowing history. That's what it's all about. You know what I mean? I wasn't. You don't have to be alive to to have seen a certain president in office to know that he was president, right? So you know what stats are, you know what history is. That's really what it comes down to. You don't have to see these things happen in real time to know what the value is.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we've gone into the weeds
we
now.
gone. Yeah. I mean, I'll say this last point, and then we'll talk about design. So, like I said, we can't compare different eras because it's like, well, what if, a lot of people say, well, what if they played in the 80s and 90s where the games were more physical? But back then, the 80s and 90s, they weren't as athletic as they are right now. So what they have lasted athletically? Like, they're playing back-to-back games. Everyone's jumping 30, 40 inches off the ground. So it's just comparing the eras. I don't like that. You can't put LeBron James in 1990 and have him against Michael Jordan. You can't put Michael Jordan in 1990 have him against, LeBron in 2010. That's just, it's unrealistic.
I agree. But that's the tendency that people have.
My argument is that Kobe was a better player than
we
got him.
Here we go. Take a sip.
I mean,
you know what? We will save that.
Against each other.
We will save that for the next episode. We will have a Kobe, LeBron, MJ debate just for Kane, without a doubt.
Fair enough.
But yeah, my sense on the Zion whole thing, I pretty much echo what you guys said. I mean, listen, we all know the NBA is a business. The team's organization is going to do what they feel is the best interest of them. They trade players left and right. So I have no problem, no issue when players want out. But it is way too soon for Zion to be demanding out because, dude, you are the face of a franchise. You don't have enough cachet to demand a trade. We haven't seen you play even a full season. You played 62 games and you missed 117 last time I checked. So you have not been on the court, number one. You don't have anything in your resume to show that you should be demanding for a trade. What do you have to show? Well, you had one good year out of three. Good year out of three. And then all of a sudden you're like, well, get me out of New Orleans. I mean, I made an all-star. I'm up there with LeBron and Kate. No, you're not. You're not Durant. You're not LeBron. You're not Ja. Ja's way better than if Ja demanded a trade from Memphis, I would understand because Ja has a resume. He has shown up and he's available to play. But I just don't see Zion thinks that he is he's a caliber player like those franchise guys. So, and like I said, if you want out, cool, but build your resume first, build up your value. So when you do decide to demand now, it's like, okay, this is what we're getting because you don't know what you're going to get with Zion. He can't stay healthy. He has messed up knees. You are not supposed to have 3 knee surgeries by the time you're 21. That's a bad sign.
Not if you only got 2 knees. I mean,
yeah. So, I mean, it's just, it's doesn't make any sense. But I mean, hey, listen, he needs to focus on getting back in shape, getting his knees right. And damn well he's going to ask for that max contract extension because like, well, I had one good year, so I want 250 mil. Well, I'm not giving that to you, Zion. Get your fat ass in shape first, then we'll talk. So,
Kyle, mark the date in time. I actually agree with Worlds on something.
I think we all agree with each other. It's just like build your value first, get back on the court first, then you can demand.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Because you if you go to a team, they don't know what they're getting. You don't know what you're getting. So
well, you kind of do. 3 bad knees,
3 bad knees.
Oh God!
Oh, 3 bad knees once out of New Orleans.
3 bad knees and a bench player.
Okay, if you fit in, just fine. Man.
I bet he keeps those seats warm real nice when he's cheering on sidelines. You see him wearing street clothes than you do in basketball clothes.
Ooh.
Well, there you go. He's gonna be added to my
street clothes team.
All street clothes team. Yes, joining AD, Kyrie.
Who else?
Kyrie, right? You said.
Who else is there?
It's AD.
Greg Oden
you said Kyrie.
They love those street clothes, boy.
Yeah, Greg Oden is the original all street clothes player, man.
Yes.
Oh God!
So, now that we're
technically, why I'm so pissed about Greg Oden. By the way,
we'd love to know because he's come up a couple of times now. I think it's personal.
A little backstory. Okay. Do you remember the year before we got the big three in Boston, the Celtics. So
Oh,
the year was
yeah.
2007. Let me set the stage, right? And we were fighting for the number 1 draft pick, and we dropped down to number 2. So the number 1 draft pick that year was a guy named Kevin Durant, and he went to Oklahoma City. And I was like,
well, he went to Seattle Supersonics.
Seattle, yeah, of course. And then, it wound up in Oklahoma. You're right.
Yes.
And the Celtics won Greg Oden in that.
Yay.
Yeah. And of course, he wound up in Portland. But the fact being, you know what I mean? Like, we lost all our chips that year. So I had to sit the entire year and watch the guy that we were hoping was going to be our savior sit on a freaking bench in Portland his first year. And laugh it up, because that was the year of misery. That was the year we came in dead last in the NBA.
But that was Doc Rivers, right?
Won the championship the next year, which was gratifying. But Greg Odom is the symbol of all my hopes and dreams just being dashed. I'll never forget 2007. Damn him.
Well, but look how it turned out.
365 days later. No. I am still with an attitude about it.
Still bitter.
Very bitter. Very bitter.
Oh man. Oh my God.
So now that we're in the actually a little past the midway point of the season.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So you mentioned, I think there's like 26 games left, but we're about more than halfway done with the season. Playoffs is right around the corner. So a lot of teams are going to be looking to make that late playoff push. So I wanted to ask you guys, who do you think will make that last playoff push? Who will be fighting for the play-in tournament? And what team, obviously we all know what Kane's going to think, but what team do you think has the best chance of making the finals now that the trade deadline has passed and roster is now officially locked in and constructed? So who wants to go first, Kane, Kyle, or Gabe?
Yeah, Gabe, you take this one.
Honestly, this would be me just shooting for the stars and being a super fan. I'm a super fan of the Melo Boys, Ball Boys. Sorry. And if like the Hornets could do something, that would really look good on those young boys. Like they're breaking records, they're helping teams, they're doing different things. Dad did different things, so definitely want to see those boys definitely in the playoffs.
Ooh, so they would be knocking the Nets out of the 8th seed up in the case. Where else? How do you feel about that? That's a betrayal.
I think.
Judas.
Well, you guys got me on the show, man.
well, listen. I don't even think that the Nets are going to definitely move up in the seedings, in my opinion. Once Ben Simmons, is able to play, overcome his mental issues and whatever, and he's ramping it up. KD's going to come back, and the man is going to be lifting. So Kyrie looks like he's going to be full time again, which is congrats, Kyrie. Love to see you back out there. But if that's the case, the Nets will not be in the 8th seed, and if they are, let's see, they would. If the season ended right now, the Nets would play the Heat. They will knock them out in 6 games, I believe. So
would knock the Heat out in 6 games.
Yep.
He said that. You said that.
Hold on.
Wait. As things stand right this minute.
As it's if the season ended today and everybody was healthy playing, Kyrie was there, Simmons was there, whatever.
Everybody was healthy.
And you gotta have people playing. I mean, come on, you can't have no Kyrie and no Simmons and no KD. I mean, obviously we're gonna lose.
Ben Simmons is there. Ben Simmons is there for defense, and as it stands, the ban hasn't been lifted. So
but if every team just keeps losing games right now, and we head into when the playoffs start in April, listen, this would be the rock.
You said if every team starts losing games,
if every team just lost every single game, and we just kept this. If we kept this, and be like, you know what, we're not gonna play no more games until April. Everybody get healthy. We'll see you in the playoffs. Oh yeah, the Nets are whooping the Heat's ass. 6 games easily. It's not even a debate. Kane, Who on Miami is gonna stop KD from dropping 50?
The entire team. Like, Miami is not, what are you
The
talking
entire
about?
team?
Nobody's trying to go up against KD one-on-one here, bro. But nobody will ever say that KD can win the Nets a championship by himself. You know what
So
I mean?
who's stopping Kyrie too? You got both of those guys who could go off.
But that's a huge if, brother. Like, that hasn't been done yet. You know what I mean? That's not a signed deal. Like, the Nets have to win 7 games and what, the right 7-7, right? The Nets have to win 7 games, and then the Heat have to lose 7 games out of these remaining 26.
And
I mean, that's as things stand. If you're saying like, oh, everybody healthy, band lifted, Kyrie plays all game, because right now you have them winning in 6 when Kyrie can't even play in 3 of those games. I mean,
so let me.
But hold on. They would still have home court advantage. That's the thing. If the ban was not lifted, they would still have home court advantage. Not home court, excuse me. They would be away. They would have away court advantage, which would be in
not
favor
a thing.
for
That's not.
Oh yes, it is. Oh yes,
away
it is.
court
In the
advantage.
hold on. In the Nets situation, what they're currently in, it is. It's called away court
They
advantage.
have home court advantage
That's
because
new.
they're the 1 seed, bro. They have home court advantage.
Okay, but
And
hold
the
on.
Nets
All right.
all right, the Nets would get to play 3 games away, right? So even if Kyrie played all 3 games and they won because of Kyrie, that's
they'll
still
play
not
4
enough
games
to win.
away. They'll play 4 games away. Miami will have 4 home games. The Nets will only have 3 home games. So that's why it's the Nets home. It's the Nets home / away advantage.
Okay, I take it back. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So you're saying that Kyrie would be enough to walk into
to walk into Miami and put
Miami
the brakes off them.
Well, I think I'd like to chime in with something that everybody seems to be overlooking, which is if it started today and the Nets are in the 8th seed, even if they did get past Miami, there's 2 more rounds. You think they're going to make it to the finals?
Yeah.
You think they're going to work their way past all of those?
Hold on, time out. Okay, hold on, time out. So again, we have to say when everybody's healthy, we just doing a hypothetical if the season ended right now. There's about a month and some change left. So we got a good 26 games left of basketball. Anything can happen. All right. So you said they got to get past the rest of the rounds. Okay. Philly has to get acclimated with Ben Simmons and not Ben Simmons. Philly has to get acclimated with James Harden and Joel Embiid. We don't know how that's going to work out. We've seen how
do we
James
know
Harden
how Ben Simmons is gonna? You know how Ben Simmons is gonna work out either?
Yeah, we don't. But
you
I'm
think
saying
it's a coincidence that they signed Goran Dragic? You know, I mean, you know, they had like 1 point guard. Now they have 5.
Defensive player.
He's a defense. Yeah, you don't need him for offense, but what Harden is needed for offense. He has to score to be effective because Harden's not going to give you anything on defense. So you got to see what Harden and Embiid are going to do, how they're going to look like. And they only got 26 games to figure that out. Everybody think, oh, the pick and roll. But we've seen Harden could have figured out with Russell Westbrook, with Chris Paul, with Dwight Howard, with John Wall, couldn't figure out with KD, couldn't figure out with Kyrie. So it was like you give him his 8th superstar player and you all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, Philly's going to come out the East. Yeah.
So you got the Nets. You got the Nets taking the East?
No. The Nets will make the East Conference Finals. I got the Bucks coming out. The East.
All right. I was going to say because there's still the Bucks and there's still Balzac out there.
Listen. I am a knowledgeable fan. I'm not like other fans on here who just spew stuff because they're biased and they don't. I'm not going to point at anybody.
Ooh, I hope you're not talking about me because, like I say, at the end of the day, I'm speaking.
No, not you.
Well, wait a minute. Who else?
I'm talking about you.
So who else is there? Because
there's only 2 other guys.
This is the first time Gabe's visiting us. Yeah, I mean, you're not pointing at a crowd here.
I mean, listen. And when I'm a fan, okay, at least I'm realistic about our expectations. I'm not like other people.
I'm very realistic. No. I never said that.
Listen.
I think it's a good thing that we record these things because we could always go back and see exactly what everybody says. And I stand by everything I said, and I know what I say because I don't talk in my sleep. So,
like the Knicks will win it all.
I never said that.
He never said that. I don't think.
Never said that.
I know. Well, I mean, you did have good prediction for the Knicks to go far, but that hasn't lived up to hype.
Now, what I have said multiple times before the season even started is that the Suns are going to take it off. But I mean, I'm in a really good arguing position right now. So, you know what I mean?
Well, CP3's out the next couple of weeks, so that you guys might slip down in the standings because CP3's out for what 6 to 8 weeks with that hand fracture.
Yeah, that's all right. I am concerned about that. I am. I'm not gonna lie about that. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. But I mean, last time I checked, the Warriors were 6.5 games out of the top spot. So
Yeah, they had a bad road trip, but
yeah.
I think they'll be fine.
Okay, so hold on.
They'll
Let me
come in
see.
second.
I'm looking at the Suns' next couple of games without Chris Paul. At the time of this recording, and playing the Pelicans, which they're beating them. They have the Jazz next, the Blazers, the Knicks, the Bucks, the Magic, the Heat, the Pacers, the Lakers. They could hold some of those games down without CP3. I see them losing to the Bucks and Miami possibly because those are two very good teams, and having a veteran point guard could definitely elevate you against those guys. But
Isn't Cameron Payne out also?
but I believe so.
Yeah.
But they're gonna have to go to their bench really deep. Yeah.
Alfred Payton. Which
We'll see.
I had no problem with
I
Alfred Payton,
stick
but
to-
that's another
I stick
story.
to my predictions. Because we're talking about how things are today, I'm not gonna wish CP3 was back. You know what I mean? So we gotta say how it is today. We got a nice cushion in the West. We'll see.
Yes. Yeah. It's a good thing he got off to a roaring. He had a great season so far.
Oh yeah, no, really good season. Really good season.
But Gabriel's grinning a lot, so I'd love to hear what he
Well,
feels.
he's laughing at the hate. He's laughing at the hate that you guys.
I know it's really it's
Like
It's
you guys
very
said,
palpable.
we're halfway through.
Yeah, it's the hate. I can feel it through the camera. It's the hate. I feel it.
very palpable.
Mhm.
You know, hold on.
Kyle,
You know,
I gave you Bulls love. You ain't gonna give me nothing in return.
I know he hasn't even
yeah, that's
champion.
well, hold on. But before I have to chime in, I was the first person on here that hopped on the Bulls bandwagon. I said, watch out for Chicago. The addition of DeRozan and Lonzo was gonna be key.
When the Balls Act came together, yes.
Yeah, when the Balls Act came together, I was like, watch out for the Chicago Bulls. And nobody wanted to listen to me until now. So I'm just gonna pat myself on the back. Go ahead.
Like you guys said, it's halfway through the season. Honestly, it's anybody's game, really. Somebody could just get injured, and that's it. Your favorite team is out. So,
And not only that, but when you're in the playoffs, anything could happen. So, hey,
True. This is true.
It comes
Mhm.
down to the players that are really good at crunch time. Like, who are the players that are killing it the last 2 minutes? And those are the ones you're gonna ask yourself.
yep.
They're gonna be in the finals, crushing it.
Who's closing?
And I like that point because my point about the Suns is it's like, losing CP3 was huge, but it's not like he was carrying us. Like no one player is carrying the Suns. You know what I mean?
Mm.
The Suns are like the Heat in that sense. You know what I mean? It's a team. So
That's gonna be a hot finals.
But Kane,
Suns and Heat.
Kane, I feel like CP3's presence alone and his leadership in the locker room. Because
absolutely.
again, I don't want to get off topic, but I feel like Chris Paul should have won the MVP last year and the MVP when he went to OKC. Because when he went to OKC, because it's like when he goes on a team, they get so much better. Like the Suns didn't even make the playoffs 2 years ago when they were in the bubble. You add him, they were the top seed in the Western Conference and the top seed in the Western Conference again. And it's like we can't just look at Chris Paul is not putting up these outrageous monster numbers like 30 and 15. But his presence, his value, that's what value is. Like, what do you bring to a team that doesn't mainly have to stagger the box score? And he brings a lot to the Suns.
True. I mean, we do have another veteran in McGee. So hopefully, you know what I mean? Like, we'll see if because McGee's got experience going deep in the playoffs. Let's see if, you know what I mean, he can fill in at least some of those blanks. You know, but I mean, we have a deep position in the West right now. We'll see. But I mean, I think the conversation to have is on the East right now.
Yeah, the East is deep.
Welcome to DJ. Please scan your membership card.
The East is deep.
Who do you guys think is taking that out of the East?
Oh, who's coming out the East?
Yeah.
Okay, well, the bias in me will say the Nets, but I don't think that's realistic. That's just me being biased. I think it's gonna be the Bucks again. It's gonna be Bucks, Nets, Eastern Conference Finals. I think the Bucks will win again because again they've been together. Giannis is MVP conversation again. I like the addition of Serge Ibaka. Gives them another defender down the paint. I believe maybe Brook Lopez might be out for the year because that's the only reason why they had to get him. They need another big body who could stretch the floor, and they have championship experience. So I got the Bucks coming out the East. But oh my God, the road that they got to get to the finals. I mean, they could meet the Philly. They could meet the Philly in the way. They could meet the Bulls. They could meet the Heat. That even don't sleep on the Cleveland too. The Cavs is a really good team. Yes, they're young, but they got something brewing up there in Cleveland, man. They just got Karis LeVert in the trade. Jared Allen's gonna be down there in the paint. They got Evan Mobley, who's probably gonna be the rookie of the year. Hopefully, Colin Sexton comes back and they sign him to a long-term deal. But Cleveland's got a bright future. Do not sleep on Cleveland. I think they'll get bounced out the first round, but that team is they're gonna have some problems.
You just slept on them if they're gonna get bounced out the first round.
But look, okay, if they're 4-5, look, 4-5, the Cavs are 4. If they're gonna go up against the Bucks, you think they're beating the Bucks?
No, you're just arguing with yourself right now because you said don't sleep Cleveland.
No, okay, but
I'm sitting here nodding like,
but I'm saying they will.
And then you say they're gonna get bounced out in the first round.
Okay, but I'm saying they will make it tough. It will be a 6-7 game series. That's what I'm saying. Don't sleep on the team because you can't expect the Cavs to go to the second round when you got Philly's gonna be there, Chicago, Miami, the Nets, Bucks. I'm just saying they will make it a tough first round, but in the future, give it 3, 4, 5 years. That team is going to be a force to reckon with.
I think
with Gabe coming out of the West real quick, Kyle, before you speak. I do agree with Gabe coming out of the East. I think the Hornets are a sleeper. Yeah. So I think that's possible. And with that, he left. Oh, okay.
And I feel like everybody is overlooking playoff experience. I feel like, just because you're a young, hot team during the regular playoffs are a whole different animal. The game slows down and sometimes a player can't slow down the game for, the game doesn't slow down for the player. I mean, they're going to go in there. Yeah, they're professionals, but they're going to go in there wide-eyed and they're going to, and I feel the same way about the Hornets. The Hornets could make the play-in or they could make it as the 8th, but, we're talking about playoff experience that some of these players, some of these teams don't really have collectively. Maybe 1 or 2 players per team, but overall, that is the difference maker after talent is experience.
So who you got coming out of the East?
Me, honestly, I don't see Miami falling too far. So that, but as far as I can go, as far as saying the conference finals, I'm thinking honestly, Bucks and the Heat. And we're talking about the Bucks are only 2.5 games behind them as of this recording. So, I think that the Bucks will go on another run and close out strong.
No, not the Bulls though. I mean, they're tied for top right now.
Yeah, but I don't think that they would make these conference finals. I think there's going to be some kind of upset there because they're obviously going to I think there'll be a lock for the playoffs unless something astronomical happens. But as far as making it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals, I wouldn't bet on it, and I'm not a gambler. But other than DeRozan, who's been there,
and LaVine too. Don't sleep on LaVine.
How many times has he been to the playoffs?
DeRozan has some of that experience you're talking about.
I'm talking about playoff pedigree. I'm not talking about
playoff
talent.
experience. Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. What about you, Gabe?
Honestly, I'm looking at the East right now, and it's looking like anybody's game in terms of Miami, Chicago, and Philly. So I mean, I'm shooting for Hornets, man. Hornets. I'm shooting for the Net. I mean, I'm really proud of the boys, like I said, and I've been following them for a few years now, and you can see that they've actually grinded their way to the top. It's not like they just like sat on their behinds and they went out their way to go travel. They went out their way. So these boys are definitely gonna make a difference. Definitely gonna make an impact. I feel, they definitely have to prove themselves not only to the world but to everyone.
Mhm.
I respect that. I
You
respect
need all you got to do is just take off HOR, and then you have the exact team that you want.
Wow.
Right.
How long has he been waiting to use that one?
that. You saw him being quiet like a cobra.
He's like, oh my God, I can't wait for my turn. Can't wait to say this.
You know what's funny? We remember the beginning of this season. We were, oh, Lakers. Like, what happened?
Yeah, both teams are in the 8th and 9th spot.
You mean the LAARP Lakers? Yeah.
What happened to playoff experience, Kyle? Come on now.
Oh, but but here's my other argument that I was just proving a minute ago is age-related injuries and minutes and so forth. Not everybody is LeBron. So,
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, in West, like this, it's either the Suns or the Warriors out of the West. You know what I mean? And I only am giving that because of World's argument about CP3's injury. I hate to admit that. I'm hoping McGee can step into that veteran leadership role, but who knows?
You talking about JaVale McGee?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So damn, you guys are pretty much saying, correct me if I'm wrong, that the West is kind of weak if it's only 2 teams that have a realistic chance of making it to the finals.
Well, who else would you get? No, don't say the Lakers.
No, I'm not gonna say the Lakers.
It's an insult.
They could go on a run. They could go on a 15-game.
Man, listen. They had 60 games to go on a 15-game win streak. It's done, man.
They don't have 15 games in them left.
It's over.
I was being facetious, obviously, but I'm just saying, that's what it's like in LA. Those are the diehard Laker fans who are delusional, who are like, there's no way we could have a losing season. There's no way we could not be in the playoffs or hang another banner. That's a Laker fan.
I don't think any of you guys.
Memphis is solid.
You guys agree? I mean, you really think Memphis is gonna pull it? You know what I mean? Like up against Golden State or the Sun. I mean, like it's one of those 2 teams out of the West, man.
Well, Memphis has a really good shot at beating. I'm not saying they will. I'm saying they have a puncher's chance because they did beat them to get into the play-in last year. And then John Morant beat them. I think they beat the Warriors twice or once this year. So I'm saying they have a puncher's chance. I'm not saying they're gonna win, but Memphis has kind of had Golden State's number. If you want to look at the last couple of times they played, John Morant has showed up and Memphis has beaten Golden State. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying they're gonna beat them, but they have a puncher's chance. So don't sleep on Memphis.
If you say that again next year, I'll agree with you. You say it this year, I don't. Yeah, I don't agree.
Because what they need another piece or something.
I think Memphis does need another piece to get to where the like the Suns or Bucks or Warriors level. Yeah, I think they need another piece.
Yeah. What about the Jazz? Everybody just sleeping on Utah. Okay. Well, hey, I tried.
Play that jazz music.
I mean,
nice and easy.
About Portland, you know what I mean?
Portland. God. Portland doesn't even want to make the playoffs. Come on now. We could all get a squad that like play scrimmage with and maybe scrimmage with them. I think at this point.
Portland, yeah. I'm being really mean tonight. I that's awful. I'm sorry. I am.
That's what makes the show. You have to be.
You can be Charles Barkley for the night. It's okay.
Yeah,
that's true. I'll let Worlds be the bad guy again next week. Next episode.
Again.
I'll be Kenny, just with long hair.
With hair.
Yeah, just Kenny with hair.
He doesn't have short hair. He has no hair.
Don't talk about hair and then talk about LeBron. So.
He's trying to keep the hairline.
Yeah, man, I got to.
He needs to just bring it on home, man.
Yeah, man, you gotta just join the family. Just join the family.
LeBron out here looking like a half-mowed lawn.
Oh my God!
He paints his hairline before every game. Sure.
Man.
Oh God.
Good one.
No, Wells, you come from my head, man. You know what I mean? Like, I'm from New York too, man. We played the Dozens growing up too, man. Oh man, what else you got,
Oh
bro?
God. Oh man, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, you guys, said 24 games left about roughly. It's gonna be a great playoffs. Can't wait to see everybody healthy. So at that time of the year. Yo, before we go, we need to get a team rain parlay. So we put in money in. I know we already know who you got, Kane. But we need to put like a rain parlay and be like, all right, who we got to win? We put $50. I'll put 50 on the Nets. You put 50 on the Suns. And
let's get the betting parameters right this time, so I'm not betting against two people who have the same bet. Okay, because that makes no sense.
Well, I'm the only one betting for the Suns, I believe.
Yeah, so, I'm betting for the Nets. So Kyle, since your team,
you're betting on the Nets.
You put $50 on the Nets.
Yeah, right now I'll put $50 on the Nets. No, because look, Kyle, Kyle's team has no chance in hell of making the playoffs, so he could pick somebody else as a substitute.
But his other team is the Warriors, bro.
Wait, oh yeah, that's right. He is a Warriors.
Yeah, he's a huge Warriors.
Actually, they got a good chance of winning the title. Never mind.
$50 up.
Yeah, I'm not playing. Yeah, they got a good chance of winning the title. Never mind. I'll take that back.
You see?
Wait, hold on. You can't be two fans of two teams.
Selective memory. Like you are with the Nets and the Bulls. First of all, they're not in the same conference. And like I told you before, I'm never a bandwagon fan. Obviously, if I grew up a Knicks fan and I'm loyal to that all this time, obviously I'm not a bandwagon fan. I've been a Golden State fan for what is it now? 15 years or so? 15, 16. So since and they had their rough stretch too. So, a couple of them since then. So I'm not buying that whole jumping bandwagon thing. And it's okay. It's okay to have a favorite team from each conference, right, Gabe?
Also, so I can have a favorite team for the West then too. Okay, I'm going with the Suns.
Oh, brother!
Welcome home, brother. Welcome home.
Oh, brother! That's
God.
Whatever.
Oh man, but yeah. Oh, that was a good episode, guys. Thank you, Gabe, again for joining. Appreciate you stopping by at work doing this, man. That shows the grind that you are on.
Yeah.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Trying over here, man.
Mm-hmm. We see you out there,
all
brother.
I gotta say is have faith in the young ones, man. You always gotta have faith in them. Give everyone a chance is all I gotta say, because the young ones are coming up. And they're trying to be the next LeBrons. And that's why when you ask me, who do I have faith in? I have faith in the youth, man. Because I got kids. So, I have faith in my kids or something. So they do the same thing these young boys are doing,
Yo, Gabe, if you on next season, I'll do the same thing in my mind that we just did with Worlds. You on next season, I'll give you your Hornets easy money to have a high ranking in the playoffs. I'll give you that.
Gentlemen, have a good night. I'm going to have to go.
All right, well said, Gabe. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, man. Appreciate the time. All right. And that was Gabe Rio Grande signing off. As always, Hoops All In is executively produced by Rain Multimedia. Go check out Rain at rainmm.com. Follow them on all the social media platforms. You can check out on their website, Rain Multimedia, on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Subscribe to their content. As always, Werlins Francois, Kane Legacy, Kyle Anthony, signing off for another episode of Hoops All In. Everybody stay safe. Peace.
Peace. Thank you.